In the headlines, Emefiele withdraws case from Federal High Court that confirms he is no longer in presidential race. President Muhammadu Buhari charges security agencies to remain steadfast in securing the nation. Presidency revokes all NDDC contracts from year 2000 to 2019. Away from Nigeria, Russian diplomat Boris Bondarev resigns over war in Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. The governor of Nigeria's Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, on Monday withdrew the suit he filed against the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Attorney General of the Federation over his presidential ambition. Emefiele, through his counsel, St. Maliki, told Justice Ahmed Mohammed that a notice of discontinuance had been filed and served on the defendants in the matter. On May 9, 2022, the Central Bank governor made a prayers in an ex parte motion dated and filed by his lawyer, seeking an order of maintenance of status quo ante-bellum, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. Some of the defense lawyers, while reacting to Emefiele's withdrawal, urged the court to award damages against the CBN governor. In his ruling, Justice Mohammed held that Emefiele had the right to file the notice of withdrawal. He said the notice of discontinuance was valid and accordingly struck out the case. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Sunday night visited Kaduna State and met with delegates of the All Progressives Congress in a closed-door meeting. The Vice President, who visited Kaduna to solicit the party delegates' support and vote in the upcoming APC primary elections, also explained that the rationale behind his ambition to become the next president of Nigeria. Osinbajo explained that when President Muhammadu Buhari handed over power to him before one of his visits to London, Osinbajo asked the president whether to report directly to him, but the president responded that Osinbajo, is in charge. The vice president said during President Buhari's time away from Nigeria, he was able to attend to complex and sensitive issues that showcased his capabilities to move the country forward.
Interaction with the delegates, with the Kaduna delegates, and we talked about a wide range of issues: the economy, security, education, healthcare, all the concerns that we have and all the concerns that the delegates have. So we had a very good interactive session. That was really great.
The Borno State Governor Umar Zulum has appealed to frontline APC presidential aspirant Bola Tinubu to pick Senator Kashim Shettima as running mate if he clinches the party's presidential ticket. He made the appeal during a delegates meeting with the former governor of Lagos at the government house in Maiduguri on Sunday. Tinubu maintained that he had more political acceptability than other contenders in the party and promised to end insecurity and vandalism if elected president. He called on Nigerians not to return the PDP to power, stressing that the opposition party had 16 years but could not have any significant impact in the country.
The other party, Poverty Development Party, can say anything they want now. They have a good 16 years to correct and build a strong foundation of prosperity, honesty for Nigeria. They squandered it. They neglected security and gave us banditry. And they say they want to come back? No, never.
That we should extend a hand of fellowship to our brothers in the Southwest. And no one in the Southwest If you call him just amongst equals, to me it's a gratuitous insult. He's the best in the midst of his mentees.
I want you to keep the position of Vice President to distinguish and association. Most important, we want you to promote mechanized agriculture in Borno State. It's very simple. Borno State can generate, Your Excellency, not less than $1 billion in the year agriculture. If our arable land is invested, it's harness one.
Staying with politics, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi has called on APC delegates to vote at the party primaries with conscience and fear of God. He made the appeal during a consultative meeting with delegates in Borno State. Amechi said politics has become a business venture for some politicians who are bent on monetizing the voting process. He promised to tackle unemployment and poverty and revamp the education sector to ensure all-round development in the country. The former Minister of Transportation urged the delegates to ensure that they vote a credible, trusted and honest candidate who is capable of driving Nigeria to greater heights.
The people that are carrying guns have no work. If you employ them to come and beat drums and you pay them, they will not carry guns. Whoever tells you that Boko Haram is religious affiliation, outfit, tell the person is lying. Are they not killing Muslims? Are they not? Exactly.
You know, Dr. Kashim is our senior and our leader. And the Tinubu is also our leader. And then Chairman Alina Rori is also our leader. So the delegates are now to be shared among us.
To me, power belongs to God. And God gives power to whom He will. It has been my prayers that Nigeria should get a good president. I can't mention the name of any person.
President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the security agencies to remain resolute and steadfast in securing the nation. President Buhari stated this during the 58th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force held at 403 Flying Training School in Kano. The report.
President Muhammadu Buhari noted that the Nigerian Air Force was able to meet the constitutional responsibilities, thereby justifying the government's enormous support in the last 7 years.
The Nigerian Air Force has over these 58 years transformed to a formidable and resilient Air Force that is positioned to effectively tackle both contemporary and future security challenges. This adaptability has thus enabled the service to respond effectively to our dynamic national security challenges. The Nigerian Air Force has been able to meet with constitutional responsibilities, thereby justifying the government's enormous support in the last 7 years.
President Buhari maintained that his administration had acquired new air platforms for the Nigerian Air Force with a view to meet up the security challenges.
To continue to modernize the armed forces, we will continue to do more to support the Air Force. To this end, we have approved the procurement of more platforms, such as the Beechcraft, some modern helicopter gunships, and UAV for the Nigerian Air Force to enable it to man our airspace more effectively. Rest assured that as a government, we are willing to do even more to ensure the provision of the requisite support and encouragement to overcome various security challenges.
Highlight of the occasion includes humanitarian outreach by the president of Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, where she donated food items to the widows of the Nigerian Air Force personnel who lost their lives.
Former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has promised to work with Governor Bello Muhammad to tackle the security challenges bedeviling the state. He made the promise while playing host to the All Progressives Congress APC leadership in the state, led by its chairman, Tukur Danfulani, at his country home, Talata Marafa local government area of the state. The former governor believes that the recent reconciliation between two warring factions of the APC in Zamfara State will yield fruitful results for the party in the state. He said that the reconciliation was aimed at moving the state forward and improve the lives of the citizens. The former governor assured people of Zamfara State that they came together in order to confront insecurity, the economy, and political challenges facing the state.
Robust progress from our people, our response, excellent, and it's our hope that by God's grace, this reconciliation, inshallah, will yield an excellent result. We have done so many things within last 10 days, and we met with many people and many groups, ranging from the stakeholders, from the world stakeholders, local government, state, and the different direction of people. And the interaction is giving us encouragement, which we are going to continue it till end until voting day, inshallah. We'll not relent our efforts. We will continue, inshallah, and by God's grace, we will, at the end of the day, we will get results to our spending, inshallah. The system is in place, and by God's grace, we put our head together to see that by God's grace, what special issue of security we have done, we are going to do more and more and more to see that we at least get to take it to a level that maybe each and every farmer can go back to farm and community can go back to their residents. By God's grace, we are praying, and we believe Almighty God will give us the support to get this to true. Thank you very much.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Why animals undergo surgery in Sokoto? Stay with us to find out more.
Daily, we bring you updates around politics.
People like you who are very young, you have no future. Anybody now who is 30 years, if what is happening to them continues, by the time you are 60, you will have no country.
The DPO of a particular unit does not have to wait until the commissioner tells him what to do within his jurisdiction.
We have political parties on the ground. Some of them have been there for years. But they themselves, in their own sober moments, they know that this country is not the one they're expecting to run.
Policy and governance.
Are you saying the NBS is lying?
I'm saying to you very clearly that the NBS has a serious problem with accurate data till today.
The 5th Assembly, as well as the 7th Assembly, their own attempt were unproductive.
Emergence of the Taliban has simply emboldened terror groups globally.
There is a lot of attention with regards to security developments in Nigeria.
On Daily Politics, we interrogate issues, holding the actors to account, bearing in mind all the sides.
We heard that in some places now, people have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals.
Nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information.
If this country is bleeding, it is bleeding because we have failed to educate our young.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. A reminder of our top stories again. Emefiele withdraws case from Federal High Court, confirms he is no longer in presidential race. President Muhammadu Buhari charges security agencies to remain steadfast in securing the nation. Now, elsewhere, the Anambra State Police Command says it is intensifying efforts to arrest those responsible for the murder of Okechukwu Okoye and his aide, Cyril Chiboka, in the state. Speaking at a press conference at the state headquarters in Anambra State, the Commissioner of Police, Echeng, condemned the act and assured that the command will work with other sister security agencies to ensure that those responsible are brought to book. The Commissioner also frowned at the reluctance of indigents of various communities to give out information about the activities of criminals in their areas.
Command condemns these barbaric acts by the savage or savages pretending to be fighting on behalf of the people of Anambra State. The Nigerian Police Force Anambra State Police Command stands solidly with His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Anambra State and the people of Anambra State in this moment of grief and at all times. The command will work in concert with sister agencies to ensure that the mastermind and foot soldiers responsible for this heinous crime against the society are speedily brought to justice. These are not spirits. These are our brothers. They live with us. They are nephews, they are cousins. They live in communities. And whether we like it or not, we know who these people are. That is the obvious truth. The problem that securities have in this state is that of a total silence of conspiracy, where nobody says nothing, nobody hears something, nobody says nothing. And like we said, security is collective. Everybody has a part to play.
Stakeholders in the Nigerian health sector have called for more support for Nigerians with sickle cell disease in order to reduce the mortality rate of the disease, especially among newborns. The stakeholders made the call at a research workshop on project and plan execution organized by the Sickle Cell Pan-African Consortium Nigeria Network in Abuja. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu attended the workshop and now reports.
The late detection of sickle cell disease in newborns make up a large number of under 5 child mortality rate in the country, including maternal mortality. This, stakeholders believe, calls for the need to harness simple, effective and scalable tools to address the burden. The Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Research and Training, University of Abuja, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, non-governmental organizations, sickle cell patient support groups, held a hybrid meeting with 25 health institutions spanning the 6 geopolitical zones to prepare towards Year 2 of the project, including takeoff of the newborn screening study led by the Sickle Cell Pan-African Consortium Nigeria Network.
There are protocols for cross-consortium studies. So this protocol that we looked at today, or the 2 that we looked at, have to do with newborn screening, scaling up newborn screening. So we want to look at implementation science research studies on scaling up newborn screening, because as you know, newborn screening saves lives. We know that when you identify babies with sickle cell at birth and you give them prophylaxis for infection like penicillin, like the pneumococcal vaccines, they do well. And if you educate the parents, they do well.
The workshop is aimed at providing more support for access to early diagnosis, better care and management of the disease, records of patients' data collection, assessment of progress and clinical intervention.
Sickle cell is one of those things that made us not to achieve some of those goals. And even now, the SDG 1, 3, and 4, 1, 3, 4, and 10 even. If care is not taken, we might not be able to achieve them unless we are able to address sickle cell disease in our country.
Sickle cell disease is a black man's problem, and NIPRID as a research facility is a center of excellence for research, and we have been the trailblazer in the area of research in sickle cell. We started out with clinical trial in phytomedicine called Niprisan. And this particular drug helps to protect the red cell from sickling when other conditions are all right. And so far, patients that have been on these drugs have been able, right from childhood, to go through schools without crisis or little level of crisis, and they have been living their life.
Sickle cell disease patients' population require regular appraisal and identification of gaps in terms of adequacy of care, current research, prevailing government policies and diagnostic capacities to tackle the disease's burden and reduce morbidity and early mortality, especially in children. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
At least 4,000 animals surgeries were successfully carried out in Sokoto State between 2021 and the first quarter of 2022. The exercise is part of the state's sustainable 24-hour veterinary service delivery, which includes ambulatory response to animals' emergency situation across the state. Trust TV's Idris Jibrin visited the state veterinary clinic along Aliyu Jedo Street in Sokoto Metropolis and now reports.
This is one of the 4 veterinary clinics situated within the metropolitan city of Sokoto, where 24-hour services are being provided to cattle and other livestock.
The veterinary clinic is a clinic that provides a lot of services to the general public. One of the services is clinical services, where we treat a number of animals of different species. The species include the ovine species, which we call sheep, the caprine species, which we call goat, the avian species, which we call poultry or chickens, and then the small animal comprising the dog, cat, and other species of animals.
Equipped with all the necessary facilities to effectively treat animals of different species, clinics officials say their effort is paying off.
This is the machine that we normally test whether the animal has enough blood or not, because before we go further to carry out some major theaters, which include CS, luminotomy, herniorrhaphy, and whatever, and we have to actually test and see whether if the animal can take the surgery.
Within the first quarter of this year alone, this veterinary clinic has recorded over 7,000 cases brought from different parts of the state.
As at last year, we had like 17,386 cases, among which the surgical cases are up to 3,077, while the non-surgical cases are 14,386. So for this year, the first quarter, we had like, to date, we are having 7,260 cases, among which 1,261 were surgical cases, and then the remaining ones are non-surgical cases.
To ensure effective service delivery, veterinary doctors like these ones are being trained as herders continue to line up for treatment. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Sokoto.
And with that, we wrap up the news update. You can watch more by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and also following us across all social media platforms. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.